What up? Welcome back to another deck list. Today we're building Azorius Flicker, which we've done in the past, but this time we're doing Pauper EDH, or pEDH, I think they call it. The rules of Pauper EDH, pEDH, whatever you want to call it, is your commander can be any uncommon card. Everything else has to be printed in common, rarity, or yeah, that's it. So it's pretty much Pauper, but your commander is uncommon. And doesn't have to be a legendary creature. So our commander is Soulherder, 3 mana 1/1. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Soulherder. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's just like you flicker at the end of every turn from your command zone. It grows over time if it doesn't get removed. And yeah, that's kind of the deck. We'll go through it. Also, extremely cheap deck, which I'm not that surprised at it, seeing as it's Pauper, so all these cards are pretty readily available. Arcane Signet, probably the best mana rock in Pauper. Sol Ring, non-Pauper. Crowdgen Relic, when it enters or leaves, you draw a card. You also pay to sack it to put a stun counter up to one target tapped creature. I mean, it's a flicker target. It's kind of just here is like a draw one when it leaves and enters, so you could displace it or and something else and then draw two. Felwar Stone is more 2 mana ramp. Ichor Wellspring enters or is put into the graveyard, draw a card. It's kind of just 2 mana, draw a card. I don't know. Putting it into the graveyard is not the easiest thing, but if there's like an artifact board wipe, which I don't know actually exists in this format, it can be played. Lembas, another good, just like kind of, maybe not flicker, but affinity card in Pauper. When it enters, scry 1, draw a card, and then you can pay 2, tap it, sack it, you gain 3 life. And when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, shuffle it into its owner's library. Flickering this will obviously scry 1, draw a card, which is pretty nice. Or, yeah, use as a food later. Mind Stone is kind of ramp. Thought Vessel is also kind of ramp. And that's really it for ramp. There's not many options, surprisingly. On the creatures, just a lot of like good ETB effects. Archaeomancer, obviously, you just ETB trigger, bring back the thing that you flickered. This goes infinite with Peregrine Drake, for example. Which I believe is also in the deck, because yeah, when you're running like your flicker 2 targets, you just always run this in Peregrine. Augur of Volus, when it enters, look at top 3, you may put an instant or sorcery card from among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. We're running a bunch of instants and sorceries, so yeah, good card. Azure Fleet Admiral, when it enters, you become the monarch, can't be blocked by creatures the monarch controls. So this is just kind of here is like 4 mana, become the monarch. You can flicker at any point to become the monarch. If somebody takes the monarch from you, you can then just hit them and then take the monarch back. So it will draw you a bunch of cards over the game. Dawnbringer Cleric, 2 mana 1/3 when it enters, gain 2 life, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. ETB, destroy target enchantment. It's kind of like, oh, Lorn of the Third Path, that's her name, but that's like a rare and this is a common. Deputy of Acquittals. This card apparently was just like a bomb in standard at some point, which is funny. 2 mana 2/2 flash. When it enters, you may return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. This is protection for removal. Obviously, they target something, you can bounce it to hand. If you have a bunch of leftover mana, you can play like a card that says draw a card, play this, bounce to hand, play it again, draw another card. So it can help extend your stuff by kind of flickering it, but just back to hand, so bouncing. If not, it just saves your guys from removal. Helpful Hunter, 2 mana 1/1, enters, draw a card. Inspiring Overseer, 3 mana 2/1 flying, when it enters, gain 1 life, draw a card. A lot of these cheap draw card effects. Core Cartographer, 4 mana 2/2, when it enters, you may ramp for a basic plains, which again, flickering this is pretty good. Core Skyfisher, 2 mana 2/3, when it enters, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Similar to the Deputy of Acquittals, Core Skyfisher will just help you play out cards that you want to get value with again. Muldrifter, this is like the OG good flicker target. You evoke it for 3, you flicker it for 1, you're paying 4 mana instead of 5 for the 2/2, ETB draw 2, and you actually draw 4, so yeah, it's even better. Nelf's Inspector, ETB, make a clue token, so investigate. It's a way to kind of get card draw, but not really. Peregrine Drake, I've obviously mentioned, part of the combo with Archaeomancer. If not, you can always just flicker this for 5 additional mana if you need it. Priest of Ancient Lore, 3 mana 2/1, when it enters, you gain a life and you draw a card. ETB, draw a card. This is probably the weakest one in the deck, but yeah. Seagate Oracle, 3 mana, 1/3. When it enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand and the other on the bottom. It's a good way to kind of filter stuff. It's a decent value piece. Serum Visionary, this is just Serum Visions, but on a 2/2 body. When it enters, draw a card, scry 2. Sky Scanner, 3 mana, 1/1. When it enters, draw a card. I take it back. This is definitely the worst ETB draw card in this deck, even though it has flying. Spirited Companion, 2 mana, 1/1. When it enters, draw a card. Stonehorn Dignitary, when it enters, target opponent skips his or her next combat phase, so you can kind of keep flickering this on your turn to just keep a player from not being able to attack. Obviously, this is really, really good in 1v1 formats, and in like 4-player formats, it'll be a little bit weaker, but if somebody's running like a heavy aggro swingy deck and other people aren't, this card's a lot better. Suture Priest, when another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain a life. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under opponent's control, you may have that player lose a life. This kind of in here for life gain as well as the life drain. Originally I wasn't on this card, and then I realized I didn't think the deck was doing enough damage. So obviously flickering our own creatures will get us more ETBs for the Suture Priest to heal us a life, as well as it will just slowly drain out our opponents. Unfortunately, it's a really, really big like beacon for removal, but yeah. Thurban Inspector, 1 mana, 1/2. When it enters, Investigate. Again, just kind of card draw. It makes a clue token, which you have to sack for card draw, but yeah. On to the enchantments. Aqueous Form, enchanted creature can't be blocked. When it attacks, scry 1. It's mainly for our commander, as it's like the one thing we're not really flickering, as well as it'll grow, but it's kind of hard to attack with it because it doesn't have any way to get around blockers, and this is one. Also, scry 1 on attack, pretty nice. Banishing Light, 3 mana enchantment. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the field. This is obviously kind of removal. You can also do the cool thing where ETBs, with the ETB trigger on the stack, you can flicker it. And I believe the creature then doesn't see the same instance of the card leaving the field, so it is just permanently exiled. It's a really strange interaction, but it works. And then you just exile something else, so that's why it's in the deck as kind of just non-instant or sorcery removal. Candlekeep Sage, commander creatures you own have whenever this creature enters, leaves the battlefield, draw a card. If we end up flickering our Soulherder, which I believe we can do, we can't do that with himself, but we have a bunch of effects that can let us do that. We draw a card, so yeah. Imprisoned in the Moon, 3 mana, enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. The enchanted permanent loses all color. Is a colorless land with tap. Add a colorless, loses all other card types and abilities. This is maybe one of the better ways to remove cards. You can just make them into lands, and unless they get rid of the enchantment, it's just like you can hit this on a commander, and the commander's useless. Journey to Nowhere, same 2 mana enchantment. When it enters, you exile a creature under it until it leaves the battlefield, and they get control of it. Do the same trick where ETB trigger, you flicker it, yeah. Oblivion Ring, when it enters, remove target non-land permanent from the game. When it leaves, return, same thing. Obviously, yeah, these are just really good if you have a way to flicker your enchantment in your hands. Seal of the Godhead, 3 mana enchanted creature. If it's white, it has +1/+1 lifelink. As long as it's blue, it gets +1/+1 is unblockable. Really nice for Soulherder. It's another way to make them unblockable, but it also gives it lifelink and it pumps it up, which is nice. Onto the instance, we're just going to be running a lot of flicker. Exile target creature, then return it to the battlefield under its control. Draw a card. Obviously, counter spells, very, very strong. Also, Arcane Denial, you can just counter one of your own spells, draw 3. Kind of cool interaction. Blur, 3 mana flicker, draw a card. Brainstorm, draw 3, put 2 on top. Unfortunately, we don't have any good way to manipulate the dead cards that we're putting back on top from our hand if we're doing it like that. But it is just kind of look at top 3, which is pretty nice. Cloud Shift, flicker, counterspell is a counterspell. Displaces flicker 2 creatures you control. So obviously Peregrine Drake, Archaeomancer, you could get like Spirited Companion and Priest of Ancient Lore or something. You can get whatever creatures. Ephemerate, 1 mana flicker with rebound, so you cast it again for free on your next upkeep. Essence Flux, 1 mana flicker if it's a creature. If it's a spirit, you put a 1/1, which is irrelevant. Flicker Fate, 2 mana flicker. Generous Gift, remove anything. I'm surprised this card was a common, but apparently it is. It might also only be commander based, so I feel like I don't see this card being played in like Pauper. Although 3/3 can be kind of scary, so. Ghostly Flicker, you can flicker 2 artifacts, creatures, and or lands. So you can always hit like a land and a creature and kind of reduce the cost by 1. Flickering artifacts, obviously, with like the Cryogen Relic is really good. If not, flicker 2 creatures. Justiciar's Portal, 2 mana flicker creature. It gains first strike until end of turn. Woo. Momentary Blink, 2 mana flicker, and you can flash back for 4, which is nice. Negate is just a good counter spell. Opt is a way to just kind of get through our deck because might as well draw more cards for cheap mana. With the really low curve in this deck, might as well just play a lot of card draw. Planar Incision, Flicker, it gets +1/+1. Resculpt is 2 mana removal. Exile, and they make a 4/4. The Exile also gives Soulherder +1/+1. Because yeah, when a creature is exiled from the battlefield. Keep going, we got Runaway together. We can bounce one of our own things and an opponent's, and then just replay our thing if it's cheap or on a later turn. If not, we can hit 2 things from 2 different players. Scroll Shift, 3 mana, Flicker, draw a card. Slip on the Ring, 2 mana, Flicker, the ring tempts you. Teferi's Twist, 2 mana, Flicker, except it comes back at the next end step, not right away. So this can also be used to like have a creature dodge a board wipe or something. Turn to Miss, 2 mana, Flicker, until the beginning of the next end step. Your temple is under attack, 3 mana, you and target opponent can each draw 2 cards, or just creatures get indestructible until end of turn. Another way to kind of save yourself from board wipes. We'll go over the lands last. It's pretty janky. We're also only running 33 because the curve of this deck looks more like a 60 card constructed deck over a like commander deck. But yeah. On to the sorceries, deep analysis. I was kind of just looking through like Azorius and blue and white Pauper decks. And I'm like, oh yeah, deep stat analysis. Good card. Draw 3 or draw 2. Flashback for 2 as well. Fade Away is the only board wipe in the deck because it was the only board wipe I could find in Azorius and Pauper. For each creature that creature's controller pays 1 or sacrifices a permanent. Yeah, this card is wild. I'm also going to assume this card is pretty salty. Surprisingly not. But yeah, this is like really our only board wipe. It's very, very situational. Not very good. And is, yeah, I don't know what to board wipe. Lorn Revealed, you can island cycle it or you can just draw 3 later on in the game. Ponder, obviously look at the top 3, you put them back in the order. You may shuffle if they're all bad and then draw a card. Preordain, scry 2, draw a card. Raven Form, foretell it for 1, pay 2 later. You can just exile an artifact or creature and they make a 1/1. Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2. Treasure Cruise, 8 mana, draw 3, or you delve it, which is typically what you do. Yeah, just draw 3. We're just playing a lot of card draw. We're playing a bunch of blink, we're playing a bunch of counter spells, and we're playing a bunch of decent little ETB creatures with decent effects. Quickly going over the land. I mean, I'm playing like a lot of really weird dual lands for Pauper, like Citadel Gate. It taps for a white or the mana of the chosen color when it enters, which will just be blue. Same with Seagate. You enter, you name white. It's a land that hits both Azorius colors. Ash Barrens is in here to island cycle if you need it. I'm playing the artifact lands as well, just in case. Because originally I was going to do a little more artifact stuff, but it didn't really work out. But yeah, just like a lot of really weird lands. I'll quickly go over the main board. These were cards that I was considering. Arcanist Owl was originally what I wanted to try and do with this deck, where when it enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library, you may reveal an artifact or enchantment. Among them, put them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. But I felt like it didn't work that well with Flicker strategies, or I wanted to make it work with Flicker strategy, but I thought this would be a little bit more straightforward with Soulherder instead. But yeah, I debated putting it in the deck for a really long time, but I just don't think there was enough like enchantment and artifact payoffs. Because I think it's like 12 or 13 in the deck I counted, and when it's only looking at top 4, it's just not good enough. Also 4 mana for your commander. Gets to being a little expensive. I mean 3 is fine, but yeah, 4 is a little scary. Gitaxian Probe, I don't know, this card's just broken. Look at top, look player's hand, draw a card for free. You're playing a 98 card deck, boom. Heliod's Pilgrim, when it enters, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, put in your hand, and shuffle your library. Just not playing enough auras for this card to like be a reliable payoff. I mean, some of them are removal, which is nice, like Imprisoned by the Moon, but yeah. Mnemonic Wall, when it enters, you may turn target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. For 5 mana as a 0/4 defender, it's just like not good enough. I think I replaced it with like a Preordain or something like that. And then Thought Scour, target player mills 2, and then you draw a card. 1 mana draw a card it's alright, but like I'd rather play you know, like Serum Visions and all the other. I'd rather play better sorceries in this instant, in this case, because we don't have enough graveyard payoffs. But yeah, I mean, I'd go through the EDH Rex, but fun fact, Commander Group is on Rex data, because this isn't Commander deck, this is a Pauper Commander deck. Either way, let me know how I did in the comments. This is my first time trying to build Pauper Flicker. I kind of mainly just took like an Azorius Flicker Pauper deck and then built off of it with good cheap bodies. So I'm not sure I'm not like convinced at how good this deck is necessarily, but yeah, let me know how you did in the comments below. Until next week, I'll be covering the Architect like monthly challenge because I built something for that this month and I thought it was pretty cool. But until then, bye bye.